Alright, y'all. So as much as I wish I was dreaming, there's no way of avoiding what happened in Orlando this past weekend, the massacre of 50 people at Post nightclub. So let's talk about it. What's going on, y'all? Anybody with a TV, smartphone, social media is fully aware of what went on at Post nightclub in Orlando this weekend. And I want to say, y'all, it is a very, very sad day in American history. And my soul is really solemn today. I really couldn't even get up and blog about what's going on in pop culture because it just really seems irrelevant when you've got hundreds and thousands of families in mourning right now. People still don't know where their loved ones are, and people still wanting answers about this atrocity that took place in Orlando. But before I spoke out, it was very important to me to take a step back and try to gather as much information, thoughts, declutter logic and pragmatic thoughts from emotions and impulses. And I wanted to moreover make sure that when I spoke about this situation that I just was not adding to the clutter and the noise of it all, but actually adding something of value and significance to the conversation. So here are a few of my random thoughts. I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible because it's very easy to ramble on about something like this, especially when it's tugging at your heartstrings. But number one, it goes without saying that, y'all, this is a just catastrophic atrocity of, an enormous magnitude, and it troubles me that these bodies are not even cold yet, and this whole chain of events has been so heavily politicized already. People have used what has taken place so far to push agendas, and honestly and truthfully, ancillary agendas should be the last thing we're talking about right now. I'm hearing talks of the church's role in this, the Christian people, the church versus the gays, the NRA, why we need to ban guns, why we need to ban Muslim people from this country, the whole gay agenda. And it's like, y'all, listen, before we even get into all of that, can we just deal with what this is at its core? 50 people lost their lives in a nightclub for no reason at all. Point blank, period. That's where it starts and stops. Regardless of what your political beliefs are on all the other things that I said, Muslims, guns, gays, religion, all of that is secondary to the fact that 50 humans lost their lives in a senseless crime. Can we all agree for at least 30 seconds to just deal with it on that level? I think if we can find a way as a society to celebrate our similarities versus being so divisive and wanting to call attention to our differences, that we can heal faster and we can come together and unify on certain situations in which we should all be unified. And this is one of those situations where, at the end of the day, we have all lost a loved one, a friend. We are all going to lose a loved one or a friend. Can we all just mourn together on the basis of that? Then on another day, we can attach and divide on those other key points. But y'all, 50 people have lost their lives senselessly. If we're going to have the conversation, we've got to have it. So I can't get out of here without escaping some of the bullet points that have been thrown at this attack. For number one, it's a sad day for Muslim people all across the world. And here is why, to my Muslim brothers and sisters, you guys have been under attack for so long by people who do not understand your culture and by people whose fears are being spoken to by coward-like political figures, and I'm talking like Donald Trump. Ever since 9/11, the Muslim community has been under attack. And if you are within earshot of my video, please listen to this carefully. This, y'all, we can't go around and now attack Muslim people because people want to attach their agendas to a whole religion, race, culture of people, y'all. It's not right. It's not Muslim people who attacked the World Trade Center people. It is crazy people who happen to be Muslim. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. It is not a Muslim person who's bombing people and creating all this terrorism around the world. It is crazy people who happen to be Muslim. You see what I'm saying? When Dylan Roof and all these other people shot up these people in these churches and shot up these people in Aurora, we did not say Christian people are shooting up everybody. Christian people are not becoming a terrorist. So what's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. If the car goes forward, it has to be backwards. And I hope that many of y'all are enlightened enough, logical enough, and can simmer down your emotions enough to see that this is not a Muslim thing. This is a crazy person thing, and this could happen to any one of us. You know, to bring this home really quickly, you know, it disturbed me one time because I was home talking with my parents, and, you know, my dad had said, you know, yeah, I know it ain't all Muslim people, but if I ain't gonna lie to you, if I get on the airplane and one of them sitting behind me, you know, I ain't gonna pretend like I ain't gonna be nervous and I ain't gonna be watching them. And I said, you know, Daddy, that's a really ignorant thing to say. And he was like, no, it's not. And I said, Dad, what is the difference between that and me being a black male walking down the sidewalk and some white woman clench her purse or clench her pocketbook based on the simple fact that I'm a black male? And he was like, no, that ain't the same. It's different. No, it's not different. It's not different. And, you know, for anybody out there of any underserved community, if you can't get it from the Muslim perspective, take any stereotype that's in your community that, you know, is perpetuated upon us to make people who don't understand us feel non-safe, and then you get it. There's no difference for any black man out there. It's the same. The discrimination is the same, y'all. So we got to cut that shit out and use our logical brain. Like, put the damn phone down, put the TV down, get your ass off of Twitter, and step back for 5 seconds and just use your mind. So that's number one. Number two, you know, a lot of people are jumping on Facebook and, you know, making these comments about the church, this, that, and the third. This is another sad day for my religious community, and it's sad on two fronts. It's sad because, one, a lot of religious people have are coming under attack, you know. It's sad for that, and it's also sad because I think a lot of people who are part of the religious community are scared to stand up and do the right thing in a moment like this. So let me start with my first statement. It's a sad day for the religious community because a lot of Christian people, the institution of the church, is coming under attack because a select few have decided to air their ignorance in saying that, well, you know, this wouldn't have happened had they not been gay. This is goody for them. It's 50 less perverse, and some of the other perverse things that people have said. So first and foremost, general body as a whole, again, step back, take a seat, take a chill pill, and recognize that it is not all Christian people. It is not the church as a whole that is against this. And again, it is a few religious fanatics and a few people who are filled with hate that make it bad for everybody. Granted, I'll be the first person to let you know, although I was raised in a Christian household and raised basically under Christian doctrine, I don't identify with being a Christian person. However, I do wholeheartedly think that most Christian people at their core are good people, and I think the church's intentions are good as a whole. So y'all, we can't jump on all Christian people for the words of hate from a few. However, my church brethren and sisters, y'all, this is a pivotal moment for the church. Because a lot of people want to know, in spite of these people being gay, in spite of, which is another thing that's getting on my nerve, you know, people giving their conditional prayers or having to say things like, in spite of, I'm praying for them. In spite of where they was at, my prayers go to them. Listen, if you got to add that caveat in front of my prayers go out to them, then you probably need to keep your prayers. And you're probably not the kind of person who Jesus died on the cross for. Because he didn't die for your sins in spite of what you were doing. Nonetheless, you know, this is a moment in history that can really make or break how a lot of people feel about the church. Because is the church going to stand up as a collective and make a statement and pray and help and donate and use the resources to help these folks? Or is the church just going to turn a blind eye and be like, you know, in spite of, we're going to throw some prayers that way, but we're going to keep going on over here and mind our little business? You know, I'm curious to know, because the gay people's soul got to go somewhere. Gay people's soul need prayer too. You know, rather you believe in heaven or hell, they all got to go to one of them, and it's a 50% chance. And if you as saved as you said you is, the church, then shouldn't y'all be out somewhere praying for these people and fried chicken for the family and sending sodas and donating blood and spreading awareness and this, that, and the third? You know, I've got some family members who happen to be preachers of churches and so on and so forth in various high-end positions at the church. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really feeling some kind of way towards these family members right now because it's been brought to my attention that some of my very own family members are like, you know, despite the fact that I feel sad for what has taken place in Orlando, I don't know that this is something that we're going to talk about in church this Sunday. And, you know, shame on you. Shame on you. God got a special place in heaven and hell for you, and it's called the conditional section. That's where you're going to sit at. And you know what? It ain't too hot over there, but it ain't too cool either. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the warm section where, you know what I'm saying, where you get the scraps before they make their way down to hell. That's the section you in because God's mercy and grace should not be conditional. You know, that's just that. I ain't going to harp down on the religious people too much. But let's talk about some of the other political causes that have been attached to this situation. The NRA with the guns. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. Early on in my thinking, and it was my dad that helped me with this, I was of the frame of thought that all guns need to be taken off the damn street. That civilians, people like me and you, should not be walking up and down the damn street with guns. What the hell do you need a gun for? Then my dad had to help me realize two things. A, he's from the country, from Mississippi. He's like, you know, Quentin, it's part of our culture to go out and hunt and shoot livestock, so on and so forth. And I said, you know what, though I don't understand it, I can see their point of view. I won't want somebody to just swoop in and steal away some of the things that are inherently important to me by culture. And then also he said, even if you take guns from every law-abiding citizen, the criminals are going to have them. They will always have them. And people need a means to protect themselves against the bad element. And I said, you know what, Dad, you're absolutely right. And I can't agree with that. However, what I can't agree with y'all is people buying these automatic weapons. You cannot describe to me one circumstance in life by which somebody needs a goddamn G.I. Joe, Uzi, bazooka gun like that boy had. And from what I'm understanding is that these types of things are just easily purchased in a gun shop or a trade show with very minimal, you know, screening. First of all, there should be no screening for it because they should not be sold to civilians, point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? After you shoot a bitch once or twice with a goddamn handgun, I mean, really, bitch, how many people is breaking into your damn house at the same damn time that you need some war grade gun? I'm sorry, they should be outlawed immediately, and all of these politicians who are taking money from the NRA, keeping shit like this alive, this blood is on y'all's hands. It's on y'all's hands. Something else that I want to bring up, since I had to make a couple notes, gun control. The election. I'm curious to know how this situation is going to affect this here election. Donald Trump has already brought out this element of America that's been in hiding. And it's that coward-like, racist-like, dumb, nonsensical element in America. And, you know, unbeknownst to a lot of us, and shockingly to me, more of America is like that than I thought. And it makes me sad to be a part of this society from that regard. I did not realize how many people are just idiots. That are just racist, over-emotional idiots who lack the ability to think. All those people that support Trump and all of that emotional propaganda that he's pushing, playing at people's fears, I think they're idiots. And I think situations like this are going to be used by people like Donald Trump to further push his agenda, which leads me to my other point. You know, I've never been a conspiracy theorist. But watching shows like Scandal and some of these other political dramas do have my mind going at, do people really orchestrate things like this in order to throw and sway elections? And y'all, I'm not going to lie to you in saying that a part of me don't feel like this is just too coincidental. And just what if, you know what I'm saying, somebody on either side of the political aisle set this whole thing in motion in order to rig/win this election. Because I'm going to tell you something. When I went to Florida State University and got my degree in economics, they didn't teach me nothing about the ISIS. I swear on people, they teach me nothing about the ISIS. Matter of fact, when I graduated in 2005, I don't even think the ISIS was out yet. But this don't feel like the ISIS. I mean, of all the items that are on the ISIS agenda, the Islamic radical agenda, them people over there who throwing them rocks at them tanks, their agenda, them people who hid Bin Laden agenda, it's just hard for me to believe that a bunch of Latino gay people in Orlando is on their agenda. I'm just not buying it. Something in this milk ain't clean. I just refuse to believe that ISIS is somewhere in a cave somewhere with sand and shit falling all down on them, speaking that crazy language on walkie-talkies and smelling like barnyard animals with all that hair and stuff on their face with them hot-ass clothes on like Janet Jackson in concert and Bin Laden. And the first bullet point on their agenda is the gays. And granted, I know this is a very serious piece of subject matter that should not be littered with humor, but to the gays, I want to tell y'all something. There once was a time the gay club was the safest damn place on earth you could ever be. It was the safest place. We didn't have this kind of shit going on down to the gay bar. Okay? But y'all ass want to get on TV, fuss about these bathrooms, fuss about this marriage, and all this other shit, bringing the gay community from being in our little niche underground box that we was in, and y'all done made us mainstream, and now we having mainstream problems. Because see, this kind of shit that used to go on back in the day down to the gay club, girl, it was us against the world, honey. It was us over here, and the problems of the world didn't affect us, honey. It wasn't nobody checking for us, okay? We was the underbelly of America, and you know what, bitch? We might not have had all the same rights as everybody, but bitch, we was safe. Okay, y'all want to come out here and be a part of the real world. Now we got real world problems being shot down to the bar. No God. And that wasn't meant to be offensive. I added a little comedy to this video, but it's some real shit. Okay, and speaking of, I want to circle back really quickly to a lot of those people, particularly people within the black church, because it seems to me that when it comes to homosexuality, it's really the black church that's got it the worst. Now, granted, I ain't white and I ain't never been white, and I don't be around white people enough to know the real ins and outs of what goes on in their household, but on a larger scene, it seems like it really is the black church and people who are really indoctrinated into that southern black, whatever, that has the deepest issues with gay. And I'm here to tell y'all something. You gotta be careful, because you never know who is gay. I grew up in a household. I would be in the car with my mama, my grandma, and aunt, and they'd be like, look at them damn sissies on the bus stop. God, they please. Look at them damn faggots. Look at them. I grew up in a household like that. And my grandma justified speaking like that because God don't like it. God don't like all of you. Going to hell. He don't like that. Okay? And they spoke all that, and it's lo and behold, your grandson, your son, your nephew, your cousin, your loved one turned out to be one of the biggest damn sissies out there. Matter of fact, I now get paid for being a damn sissy. Wigs, lipstick, and all. And it's so funny because everybody got something to say until it hit home. Now, the reason I'm willing to tell this story is because it has a good outcome. You know, calling people sissies and faggots and being homophobic and exemplifying, you know, hatred towards gay people was all fine and well from my mother until that sissy now became her son. And she could not fathom her child being treated like that. I'll tell you a really quick story. After I came out to my mother at 23 years old, a few years later down the line, I went back at her and I said, you know, Ma, how do you feel when people say things like sissy and faggot, and you know that I'm your son, and ultimately they're talking about me, and do you still say that? And she said something that made me so proud. She said, nope. She said, I do not go around and say faggot, and I don't say sissy. I say gay. And my neighbor's son gay. And he in high school, Quentin. And he came home with some of his friends from school, and child, you should have seen them. They were just a switching and a carrying on, going in the room, doing whatever they was doing. And my neighbor was outside on the porch, and she was talking real bad about him. And I told her, I said, no, girl, you can't do that. You gotta love your son. Okay? Now, anything, you pray for him. But baby, you can't do that. You gotta love your son. I told her, you can't, because my son is one of the gays, okay? And I love him. And whatever else going on, that's between him and God. All I can do is pray for him. But you gotta love him. And she don't know this. God rest her soul. But as she was saying that, I was crying on the phone, but I couldn't let her know that I was crying, because I couldn't let her know that what she had said prior in life had bothered me or whatever. I wasn't going out like that, like no punk, like no sissy, like no faggot. But it made me cry, and it makes me happy that, you know, my mother died, I guess, learning to live with. I don't know that she ever accepted, because, you know, my mom was damn near 50 when I came out, so you were asking her to undo 50 years of a learned behavior. You're asking her to undo 50 plus years of her religious beliefs, which is hard for a lot of people. It took her 50 something years to get to that place. It probably is going to take her another 50 to get out of it. But she did leave this world taking a step back and just saying, you know, I could be wrong, and regardless of my personal beliefs, I still have to love this person and learn to live with, and so on and so forth. And she did, y'all. And I asked her another question. I said, you know, Ma, I said, now that you know I'm gay, do you think I'm going to hell? And, you know, as a parent, I did it on purpose. I appealed to her heartstrings, because it's hard for any parent to wrap their head around their child going to hell. Everybody else's child going, but your child can't do no wrong. And I'm going to tell you something. I respect her answer, because she kept it real to herself and her beliefs, but she also kept it real to her love for me. And she said, Quentin, she said, I honestly don't know where you're going. She said, I hope you ain't going. And she said, hell, we all going if we don't get our life right with God. She said, all I ask you to do is pray and read your Bible. And that's what she said. And you know what, y'all? That was a lot from her. I can take it from her. I can take that. But I'm going to wrap up my last point with bringing it back to my mom, the gay thing in the church. And you not knowing who you talking to while you being so homophobic. I'm 32 years old right now, okay? And I've got friends that I party with right now who are quote-unquote on the DL, or they out when they come to Atlanta, or when they're around their gay friends, but they family still think they straight as hell. So let me tell you something. While you sitting on your self-righteous religious horse because your son is all man, and he hard and thugged out this, that, and the third, let me tell you something. Them was the main girls I was spreading it low and laying it wide with at Club Boy on 79th Street in Miami. Okay, getting it down for years. The same ones. So don't think because your son does not fit the stereotypical box of what you see a gay person to be, my funky Dineva character or the switching sissy on TV, please don't think that this doesn't affect you, because it does, honey. Listen, anybody in the gay community can tell you, you never know until you know. And lastly, y'all, let's just pray. You know, but moreover, outside of praying, let's just, you know, be a little more tolerant. Let's be a little more quiet. Let's be a little more patient. Let's listen a little more. And just love one another, man. Life is too short. I mean, shit. You can't even go, hell, it's been, you ain't safe nowhere, okay? You say the gays got shot up because they were sitting in the church. Sitting down to the gay club. But what was the people who got shot up in the church doing? If you ain't safe in the church and you ain't safe in the damn gay club, where the hell could you go? Okay, shout out to Hazel. And lastly, y'all, let's just love each other and let's get Hillary Clinton in office, because Lord knows if we get that damn Donald Trump, we going to be stuck up Schitt's Creek. This has gotten long and I'm rambling, but I just wanted to speak on it. I love y'all. Love somebody, and just make the rest of the day and all your days about love. Talk to you soon. Bye.